What do you think the American dream is to you?
Well, I would probably say first that not to expect things to happen so fast that you can't take advantage of the reality of the thing. My dream is for just to be able to do what I would like to do under the auspices of the government and my religious beliefs, but be able to carry those out to the fullest and to live the law of that has been provided. To live under a democracy that is free, more or less, and I don't know, just to be able to do what I would like to do, but under the law.
Would you say that over your life you have achieved that dream?
Yes, I have. I've been able to do those things that many people have not had the opportunity to do, and yes, I believe that I have. In many ways.
In what ways?
Well, you want to be specific?
Sure.
Okay, in my lifetime, I have seen so much change in the attitude of living, I was born in the depths of the Depression. Everyone was in the same boat, more or less. We were all poor, and it didn't matter because we were all in more or less the same social situation. That was and to rise above that would be, at one time, part of my life, it would have been rather impossible. I went to school in bib overalls. If I was really in style, I would have striped overalls. Otherwise, it would be probably a blue denim overall. But we all had the same dress. I mean, all the boys had. I didn't have pants up to the waist and different shirt or whatever on. It was pretty much the same. So, in the decades, I would say in the 4 or 5 decades previous from what it is now, the change in attitude of the people in the world has moved to normal, fast, faster, and fastest. And that's where we are today. We're in the fastest part. Everything's fast. You see, technology has risen so enormously in that time period that it's difficult for older people like myself to keep up with the new innovations that are coming out and come up. It's all, to me, it's all enormously, I'm trying to think of the word, but I can't. Anyway, overwhelming. I don't know. That's one example of how the things have changed.
Okay. So, when you were young and little, what would you say your first dream was when you were here?
As I grew up on the farm, there were some things I knew I did not want to be.
What are some of your earliest, can you remember some of your earliest dreams about when you grow up, what your life would be like?
No, I didn't have any of those kind of dreams that I can recall at that point. I didn't really have any inkling as to, or of what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do. It was if you can survive one day at a time, you're okay.
What do you think the American dream is to you?
What is the dream to me?
Yes.
It's just being able to live in America where you're free as far as inference from other people. I don't know. I grew up in a small town and we didn't have problems with other people much, but just in our little community in southern Utah. Went to school in Orderville, and there were students from Mount Carmel, Glendale, Orderville, and Alton that I went to school with. And that's it.
So, would you say that, in your opinion, over your life, you've achieved that dream?
I would say so, yes.
Good. How would you say you've achieved it so far?
Hard work.
Hard work?
I mean, you don't get something for nothing. You have to put effort into it. I don't care what it is. Whether it's learning a skill for yourself or accomplishing whatever, it just takes effort and commitment. And sometimes it doesn't go with what it would be fun to do. Example, when I was a little kid, I didn't want to play the piano. I just didn't want it. And when I was in the 2nd grade, my mother started me with piano lessons with my school teacher. And she made arrangements for me to stay after school. I would have to miss my bus. And then she made arrangements with a lady who worked at the Y Junction. She always came to Oroville on the same day that I took my lesson. So I was supposed to take my lesson, walk downtown, and wait to meet this lady. Her name is Fern Morrison. She was a very grouchy lady. She had a reputation of being very grouchy. I was afraid of her, frankly. And I think I rode with her one time, and I went home and said, I don't want to do this anymore. Because when the bus left without me, that was a horrible feeling. And sometimes I would not go down to meet Fern, and I would walk home, which was 3 miles from Oroville to Mount Carmel, so that I wouldn't have to ride with Fern, because I didn't like her. Anyway, I was really too young to start on piano. And then when I got into 5th grade, my mother made arrangements with Mr. Salder to start me on piano. And I didn't like Mr. Salder. He used to sit and read the Kane County paper while I played my lesson through, and he'd say, okay, do the next one. I'd play it through. Okay, do the next one. There was absolutely no learning, but it cost 50 cents a lesson. And that was a fair amount of money in those days. Anyway, when I got to Dixie College, in the meantime, I taught myself. When I got to Dixie, my 2nd year at Dixie, I decided when I heard other people play, I can play better than they can. And so I actually signed up to take music lessons with Mr. Marsden, and I got college credit for that. And that was, he was the one that lit the fire under me as far as piano. When I got to BYU, I studied with Professor Hansen, who had studied with Rachmaninoff in New York City. Wow, I have a teacher that studied with Rachmaninoff, but he was wonderful. But anyway, that's just one example of you pay the price and you reap the reward.
So, when you were growing up, what would you say your first dream was, of your life?
My first dream?
Yeah.
I don't recall that I had a dream. I don't know. My parents did not believe in Santa Claus. And as a result, as a kid, I never did get things for Christmas. And my friends got stuff, and I was pretty smart to figure out that there really isn't a Santa Claus. Anyway, but when I had a family of my own, perhaps we overdid it with Christmas gifts because I didn't have things as a child, but I was determined that my kids were. And I think that's a pitfall that parents make because they were slighted in an area. They didn't want their kids to experience the same, and so they overdo. And I think parents sometimes do that. Sometimes I've done it.
Okay. So, now that you're older and I guess life has sort of gone by and things are starting to wrap up in a sense, what would you say your dream is now?
My dream is now?
Yeah, now that you're older.
It's just to see that my children succeed and my grandchildren. great-grandchildren succeed, because sometimes I worry about their wants. They're not the same as my wants when I was young. And I think their wants get skewed, that what they want isn't a good thing. That worries me as a grandparent.
Okay. I think that's nice. Thank you, Grandma.
Sure.
Thank you very much.